Hello everyone. So today I'm going to show you how to create an interactive board game in Google Sheets. So here's an example of a board game that I created. How it works is you have one die and the players can roll the die and the die changes and that's how they're going to move. These are the different pieces, game pieces that are movable. And the game pieces can be moved and placed throughout the board game. Here we have our question cards. When the player clicks on the question, they can move the yellow card to reveal the question. At the bottom, it tells them where to type their question in cell A4. Here's a place for them to put their used cards. They can type in the question. If their question is wrong, the color change key tells them if it's the wrong answer, move back 3 spaces. So they would have to move back 3 spaces, and it changes color to red. If they have the correct answer, the color changes to green, which means it's correct, and they can move forward 2 spaces. So they can move their card into the next space. In this question box here, you will see that I have an embedded video. If you click play, it will play. So this is what we're going to do today. I have my spreadsheet. First thing I want to do with my spreadsheet is to change the size of the cells. I'm going to click on the corner so that all cells are selected, and I'm just going to pull one of the cells to the size that I want. Once I have my cell size, I can decide how many spaces I want to use. First cell is going to be the starting point, so I'm going to change it to green. My next color is blue. To color multiple cells at a time, I just click on a cell, hold my command key or your control key, and then every 2 spaces. So once I have selected all my cells to fill, I just click on the paint and then fill it with the color I want. In this case, I want blue. Next, I'm going to do the same with my other colors. So the ones that I'm not going to color, I'm going to do it later. You can decide to do it now or later. And the ones that I'm not coloring are going to be my question boxes. Next thing I'm going to do is format the center of my board. In this corner is where I want my used question cards. So I want to use 4 of those cells to make room for the question cards. So I'm going to merge them together so that I just have one nice big space. I'm going to insert a drawing, and here is where I can create my card. I can insert a shape, then fill that shape with white, insert my text. Once I like the way it looks, I can click Save and Close. I could delete this. I'm going to make sure I'm clicked inside these cells. Insert image, image in cell, find my screenshot. Okay, and then I could format it to be in the center and then align it also in. Okay, here are where my game pieces go, but I'm not going to put the game pieces in yet. I'm going to save the game pieces for the very end. Now I'm going to make my key. So again, I'm going to merge these cells. Again, I'm going to use my drawing tool. Okay, again, once I like how it looks, I'm not going to just save it and close it. I'm going to take a screenshot of it so that it's saved. And then I'm just going to insert it into my box. So again, insert, image, image in cell. Okay, next I'm going to type the directions for rolling the die. And my die is going to be here. Now I'm going to set up my other parts of my board. So I'm going to set up the start. Again, I can use my drawing tool. You can also search the web to insert images. So for example, I could just go image in cell and then do a Google image search, and maybe I want to do transparent. Okay. And then I can find skulls here. I've already created a skull with directions, so I'm just going to use that. And I use the drawing tool to do that. So then once I have my first cell filled with an image and I want to use that image on a different cell, all I do is click Control or Command C, and then go to the other cell that I want to copy from, and I'm going to click Command or Control V to paste that image so I can do that quickly. Once I am done filling my cells, now I can start and create questions. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to find the questions that I want to use. I am also going to insert drawing. I made one card, and then I Control C and Control V. This is my main question card. So now I'm going to type my question. So I know that this card belongs to cell A4. I'm going to use that as an indicator for me when I reuse this card, and also for when the students play, they know that they need to type their answer in cell A4. This is where my question card is. So in here, I'm going to fill it with yellow. We create two boxes. If we just have one box, what happens is students will be able to see the questions ahead of time. So when we have these boxes, we're just going to use the order feature. The most recent object will go on top of the other object and cover it up. And then when students open the drawing, they can remove it to reveal the question. Okay, so I'm going to close it and I'm going to save and close. We're going to use a feature called conditional format to tell students whether they are correct or incorrect. So what I'm going to do is click on the cell. I'm going to click Format. I'm going to click Conditional Formatting. So this is for cell A4. So we want it to be a certain color if it's empty. I'm going to choose yellow. For my correct text, I'm going to choose that the answer needs to contain, the text contains, and I'm just going to write answer, and then I'm going to make it turn green if they're correct. Okay, and then I'm going to also format if it's the incorrect answer. So instead of choosing text contains, now I'm going to choose text does not contain. It's going to turn red. It would be the answer as well. Once I have that, I am going to test it out. So if I click on this and the student typed the correct answer, so the answer is answer, okay, it turns green. And if the answer is not correct, it's going to turn red. So my formatting worked. I can also format the box so that it's easier for the students to see when they type their answer. So I'm going to make the text larger and then center it. If you want to embed a YouTube video into one of your questions on your Google Sheets, you would have to go to Google Slides first. I have my Google Slides open, and I'm just going to make sure that my layout is a blank background. From here, I'm going to insert video. This is the video that I want. I'm going to select that. And now I have it on my slide. So what I want to do is I want to grab a copy of this image here, then go to my spreadsheet. I'm going to insert drawing, and then I'm just going to paste it, Command V here. And now I have my video. I can adjust the size and move it where I want. So I have the instructions, have them click on the play button, and then answer the question. So let me test it to see if it works. I click play, and then it shows the apple falling from the tree. So if I'm satisfied with that, I can then upload then I'm just going to resize my card to fit the size of the video. Once I have completed all my cards, now I am going to upload my game pieces. When I go to upload my game pieces, I'm going to go to Insert, Image, and I want Image over Cells. You can do a Google image search. All I do is click Transparent to find my game pieces. And I'll just choose a few game pieces. Now that I have all my questions and all my game pieces, I'm going to now insert my die. To insert your die, you're going to have to add a new sheet. So at the bottom of your sheet, you're going to click on the plus button to add sheet. On this sheet, you are going to insert the die images that you want. You're just going to go to Insert, Image, and this time you're going to choose Image in Cell because you want your images to be inside the cell. I'm going to go to Google Image Search, and I'm just going to search for Dice 1. And I'm going to choose the one that I like. I like this one. So I'm going to insert. You can see that it shows tiny. So if you want it to adjust your size, just click on the top left corner and then drag the edge to whatever size that you want. Now that I have all my 6 dice images, I can now create my formula. So what I like to do is create my formula within the sheet first, just to test out to see if it works. You can choose wherever you want to insert your formula. I'm just going to choose a random cell. On top, I'm going to start my formula with an equal sign. I'm going to use these cells as a reference. So in order to do that, I'm going to use index. The index that I want to choose are cells A1 through cells A6. So I'm just going to highlight all of them. The command that I want to use to randomly roll my dice is rand between. So I'm just going to start typing rand. And then here it's rand between. When I choose that, I want just one value. And I'm going to choose count A. Again, I'm going to reference cells A1 through cells A6. So I'm going to highlight that. And now I want to make sure I close my formula with the same amount of parentheses that I need. So I have an open parentheses here that I need to close. And then I have another open parentheses, and you can see that the program highlights them for you. I need to close my parentheses, the other one, so here it is. And then lastly, I need to close my final open parentheses that was in the beginning. So when I think I have my formula done, I can just press enter to see if it works. Okay, so it works. How rand between works is whenever there's a change in your sheet, it's going to change the die. What I use is just the delete key to trigger a change in my sheet. So when I click on delete, there's a change. You can see it says saving. So I know that it works. Again, press delete. It's saving. Even though the die didn't change, it's because it randomly chose the same number. Okay, so I press again, and so my formula works. So since my formula works, what I want to do is put a space in front to make my formula inactive. So now I'm going to go back to my main sheet, and I'm going to click on where I want my die to be. So in this game is short, so I just want one die, but I'll show you how it looks like with two dice. So in this box, I'm going to insert my formula. I'm going to start my equal sign. I'm going to go and click on sheet 2 to tell the program that I'm using reference from sheet 2. Then I'm going to click index, and then I'm just going to follow whatever I just wrote. So here's my die. I can format it to fit it within the cell. If I wanted another one, all I would do is copy and then paste it into whichever cell I wanted to go into. Enter. And now I have two dice. So I can test them out to see if they work. They work. So one caveat with this formula is because it's ran between, what happens is if when you have multiple users using ran between, whatever the value is on the dice will be different for each user. So if I were to roll my dice, I would get a 1 and a 6. But another player who is also looking at the same spreadsheet, who is playing the same game with me, might see something different. Once I have all my pieces to my board game, now I want to lock cells that I don't want to have accidentally deleted or changed. So I'm going to go and lock everything that I don't want to get messed up. I'm going to remove this, and then anything here I don't want to get messed up, so I'm just going to highlight these cells. The reason why I don't want to highlight the whole thing is because in this game I have them click delete on any empty cell to roll their die, so I want to leave these cells available for them to use to click on the delete button. So I'm just going to lock cells that don't have or that have stuff on there. So I'm going to go to Tools. I'm going to click Protect Sheet, and then I'm going to make sure I'm protecting the range. So I'm going to click on Range, and then I'm going to set permissions, and I'm going to restrict it to only me. Only I can edit this range, no one else. So if I'm sharing this sheet with other people, they will not be, and they have editing privileges, they still will not be able to edit these specific cells. Okay, and I'm going to lock all my other cells. So on my border, the cells that I want to lock are all cells that have images inside. However, I don't want to lock cells with the question cards on there because the players have to type within those boxes to answer their questions. So I do not want to lock those cells. But any cells that have words or images that are not question card cells, I want to lock to prevent accidental deletions. I also want to lock this sheet. sheet here so that no one messes with my images or my formula. So to do that, you just click on the drop-down arrow within the sheet, and you're going to click Protect Sheet. And now you're going to set permissions for that sheet and restrict it to only you. So then it gets locked. There's a lock on there. Okay, when I'm done, I can see all the cells that I have locked. If I wanted to remove or change the permissions, I just click on whichever cells that are protected. I can either delete it or change the permission. And I don't want to do any of that, so I'm just going to click cancel. So if you were to play this in a classroom with multiple groups, what you can do is create duplicates of this sheet. You just go to the drop-down menu and you're going to click duplicate. So you're going to duplicate for as many groups as you need. So here it has a copy. You can also rename the sheet so that each group knows where to go, and you can change the color. So for this, maybe I'm going to change it to red, and then I'm going to rename the sheet. And this will be, I'm going to change it to a different color, and then this, I'm going to rename it to group 2. That's how you create an interactive, synchronous, multiplayer board game using Google Sheets. And that's it.